the world's decarbonization has already moved from the planning to the implementation stage. Japan is advancing international cooperation at the forefront of this effort. The Joint Crediting Mechanism, JCM, the third-party entity, TPE, underpins the credibility of this mechanism. The government of Japan believes that expanding the designation of TPE as an independent review body for JCM is essential. JCM is a mechanism that Japan collaborates with partner countries to implement greenhouse gas reduction projects, and the resulting reductions are shared between the two countries. JCM facilitates diffusion of leading decarbonizing technologies, products, systems, services, and infrastructure, as well as implementation of mitigation actions, and contributes to greenhouse gas emission reductions or removals and sustainable developments of partner countries. JCM appropriately evaluates contributions from Japan to greenhouse gas emission reductions or removals in a quantitative manner. Japan acquires corresponding credits and uses credits to achieve its nationally determined contribution, known as NDC. JCM contributes to achieving both NDCs set by Japan and partner countries as a market mechanism aligned with Article 6, Paragraph 2 of the Paris Agreement. As the international expansion of bilateral cooperation approaches under Article 6, Paragraph 2 of the Paris Agreement are anticipated, JCM is drawing attention as an exemplary implementation model. Japan has concluded bilateral cooperation documents on establishing JCM with 31 countries to date. Over 290 projects are currently underway in areas such as renewable energy, energy conservation, and forest conservation. The number of projects is increasing, and the workload for TPE is growing. To ensure these international collaborations are established as reliable, validation and verification by TPE are indispensable. TPE, a third-party entity, is the independent review body responsible for the validation and verification of the JCM projects. From the formation of a JCM project to the issuance of credits, project participants create and submit a PIN, Project Idea Note, develop and submit the applicable methodology, prepare documents such as a PDD, Project Design Document, undergo validation by the TPE, and register the project. Subsequently, project participants prepare and submit a monitoring report detailing the quantity of greenhouse gases reduced or removed through project implementation, undergo verification by the TPE, then prepare a credit issuance request document. TPE plays an important role in both the validation and verification processes. As an independent third-party organization with high-level review capabilities, TPE objectively and impartially conducts validation and verification. In validation, based on requests from project participants, TPE reviews the project described in the PDD prepared by the project participant in accordance with the guidelines, confirming whether the project complies with the applicable methodology, guidelines, and joint committee decisions. In verification, based on request from project participants, TPE verifies, in accordance with guidelines, the reliability and certainty of greenhouse gas emission reductions or removals documented in monitoring reports prepared by project participants. These processes ensure the production of credits with guaranteed environmental integrity and due process, thereby securing the value and international credibility of the credits. TPE reviews and examines the specific items listed here through document and data checks, interviews, and on-site inspections, and prepares validation and verification reports. The validation process includes assessing the consistency between the project design document, PDD, and the applied methodology, the validity of the emission reduction calculation and monitoring plan, the implementation status of required procedures, environmental impact assessment, stakeholder consultation, public comment, and confirmation that there is no double registration under other international climate mitigation mechanisms. The verification process includes assessing whether project implementation complies with the PDD and applied methodology, evaluating the validity of monitoring, measurement, and data management, verifying the validity of emission reduction calculation results, and confirming that there is no double counting under other international climate mitigation mechanisms. Through public-private collaborations, the government of Japan aims to secure accumulated emission reductions and removals at the level of approximately 100 million tons CO2 by fiscal year 2030 and approximately 200 million tons CO2 by the fiscal year 2040 by utilizing JCM. To achieve these targets, a sharp increase in JCM projects and a drastic expansion of validation and verification activities are anticipated. However, the number of TPEs is currently overwhelmingly insufficient, and the necessary conditions to adequately handle the workload have not been established. If this situation continues, expanding the mechanism will become difficult. New review bodies that will jointly support global decarbonization must be designated as TPEs. Here, we will explain the procedures for applying for designation as a TPE. A candidate entity seeking TPE designation must either be an entity accredited by an accreditation body that is a member of the International Accreditation Forum for ISO 14065 regarding ISO 14064-2 inspection activities, or be accredited as a designated operating entity by the Executive Board under the Clean Development Mechanism of the Kyoto Protocol, or by the supervisory body under the Paris Agreement Article 6.4 mechanism. The accreditation bodies and procedures for ISO 14065 accreditation vary by country and should be confirmed individually. A candidate entity also shall have sufficient knowledge of the JCM between the partner country and Japan by reading and understanding all applicable rules and guidelines of the JCM. No fees are charged for obtaining this designation. The rules and guidelines to check when applying for TPE designation can be viewed and downloaded from the JCM website. Please also refer to this website for details on the designation application procedures and steps. Various projects utilizing JCM are being implemented, including energy conservation, the use of renewable energy sources such as solar, small-scale hydro, and geothermal power, forest conservation, and measures to reduce emissions from transportation. Increased TPE designations will accelerate global GHG emission reduction utilizing the JCM. The government of Japan sincerely hopes that more organizations will be designated as TPEs to undertake the validation and verification activities under the JCM.